Yeah. One last time. What's up, guys? Chun here, and the finale looms closer and closer. This week I got a battle against someone who goes by the username of Sid. This is a ladder match that I had on PO around the time when Smogon Tour 14 was starting up. 4th generation standard match as usual. This is kind of a special match for me, and you guys will start to see why after the first few turns. But enough of the rambling. Let's go ahead and get into it. I decided to test out Galeda's lead over Raikou, just to see if it was more effective, but he leads with Yuxi. I don't want to take a possible trick, so I go to my trick fodder Bronzong. He shows Thunder Wave though, so it looks like it's just a bulky support set, which worked out just as well. Since Yuxi can't damage Bronzong, I go ahead and set up Stealth Rock. He decides to do the same. He's going to reveal U-turn here and show that he actually has a Heatran. I don't exactly remember what I go for here, but it was definitely either trick or payback. Since Bronzong has nothing else to do to Yuxi, Parahax kicks in regardless though. Definitely can't stay in, so I decide to reveal Tyranitar now to get Sand Up. He shows Fire Blast, but he's actually going to end up missing. Now here I'm going to stay in to go for the Stab Crunch to hit whatever he's going to switch to. He reveals Scizor, and I get the defense drop here. And it's here that I'm thinking, wait a minute, lead Yuxi with U-turn, Stealth Rock, Thunder Wave, Heatran with Fire Blast, and Scizor? This is my team. Now that I've deduced this, I know this is a Scarf Scizor, so I definitely can't stay in. I switch to Gyarados since it won't take much damage. He U-turns, hoping to surprise me, and goes to Jirachi, which I expected. Since Jirachi's the only counter my team has against Gyarados, I expected him to Thunderbolt right off the bat, since this is Calm Mind Wish Jirachi. I decided to switch out and try to get Flygon in for free, but he Calm Minds right off the bat, which was unexpected. And I'm going to go immediately for Earthquake here, thinking if he boosted this early, he might Calm Mind again. And he does end up doing that. He might have been expecting me to be Scarf, since Earthquake is a 3-hit KO from Scarf Flygon, or he might have just wanted to scout the set, since that team doesn't have a guaranteed safe switch into Flygon. Either way, the Wish or even Psychic would have been better. But realizing that thanks to leftovers I'm going to miss the 2-hit KO, I switched to T-Tar since it can take on a +2 Jirachi the best and threaten it, but he goes back to Yuxi. Maybe he realized he should have wished and it wasn't worth leaving Jirachi low on HP just to KO Flygon, who knows. But Yuxi's healthy enough to take a Stab Crunch from unboosted Tyranitar, so I know he plans to either Thunder Wave or U-turn, so I go back to Bronzong. He Thunder Waves again, hoping to catch T-Tar, but not so. The team has 3 Steel types, so I doubt I'm going to be able to trick away my Toxic Orb to Yuxi or the other 2 members. He undoubtedly has Dragonite and Quagsire. And I decide not to risk it, so I just stayed in the payback. He U-turns and goes to Jirachi. This is a good play on his end since his guys are starting to get worn down. So he's playing to Wish to heal up the team from all the damage it took from switching and U-turning and getting hit. And I don't think I see this coming though. I go to Tyranitar, I play right into it. I probably should have went to Flygon back there. But I know he's going to pass the Wish, so I tried to predict and go for the Ice Punch, expecting him to reveal Dragonite. But he passes it to Scizor instead, so that definitely backfired pretty hard. In any case, Gyarados is worn down. I can't really bring it back in unless I can get Jolteon in to pass my own Wish. So I went to Bronzong knowing U-turn was coming. Did more than I would have liked, and he goes back to Jirachi, and now I'm caught in a Wish sequence, and he can potentially erase all the damage I've done to him up to this point. So I went right to Flygon with the intent of KOing Jirachi, but he just wishes up. I immediately click Earthquake, but I made it too obvious that time. He just passes the Wish to Yuxi, and now his team is pretty much at 100%, so I have to start over again. So first order of business was to Roost to heal off the Life Orb recoil. He does U-turn and reveals one of the last 2 members I've been anticipating, Quagsire, since Yuxi can't do much to Flygon. The set I ran on my team for Quagsire can't touch Flygon outside of Toxic and Encore, so I'm thinking this is a golden opportunity to get Bronzong in and sneak a Toxic Orb onto it. But he completely surprises me by showing he actually carries Waterfall and not Earthquake, so that totally backfired. And I just decided to fodder Bronzong instead of saving it for fodder later on so I can get a free switch to Gyarados so I can taunt. Worst case scenarios, he would switch to Jirachi, but then it can't Calm Mind or Wish. So he decided to finish Bronzong off. I proceed his plan. He ends up staying in to try and Toxic. It doesn't work out for him. And then now I've got a free turn to Dragon Dance. He goes back to Jirachi though, since he can't allow me to boost up twice or it's game. And Waterfall is his only attack. So I followed through with the Dragon Dance, but I ran a calc here, realized that Waterfall would not KO. And at this point, he will definitely Thunderbolt, since Gyara's a pretty big threat. So I switched back to Flygon to get in it for free, and I was hoping I could still patch a Wish to Gyarados through Jolteon later on. And last time I was in this situation, I got burned by going for the obvious Earthquake. Knowing he still got UC, I decided to go for Fire Blast instead, since there's no risk unless I miss. He does switch back to Uxie, anticipating the Earthquake. This time I thought he'd go to Heatran, so I try for another ballsy prediction, go for Earthquake, but I whiff again, and he ended up staying in the Psychic. Which it wasn't as big a deal since Uxie's not necessarily an offensive threat, but I do have to roost up at this point to keep Flygon healthy so she can keep doing her job. So he keeps going for Psychic though, and seeing this got me thinking he was either trying for the KO or fishing for a special defense drop. And we do this for 2 turns straight, but I finally decide after getting my HP back, it's time to finish Uxie off with Fire Blast, and it hits, thankfully. So Gyarados and Tyranitar don't have to worry about getting paralyzed. He might have just wanted to fodder Uxie at that point to get Scizorn for free, since he brings it in here. To make a bit of a controversial move, I stay in with Flygon to try to hit something, but I knew worst case scenario it would go down to Superpower, which my opponent ends up locking into. But the strategy now is, I know his team's pretty slow, and Gallade outruns everything outside of Scarf, Scizor, and Dragonite, whom Gallade speed ties with, since I'm running max speed Jolly on this particular Gallade. So I'm trying to sweep with Gallade here. He goes to Jirachi, but even that can't take a close combat. And I quickly finish it off with Shadow Sneak since I don't want another defense drop, even though I'd probably forced out anyway. He brings Scizor back in. I decide to just fodder Gyarados out here and get an Intimidate drop on Scizor, expecting Bullet Punch or U-turn. If he U-turns, I get switch advantage, but my opponent opts for the former, meaning I can finally bring Jolteon in, who's pretty much been kept out all game. I could have brought it in earlier in hindsight, but only Uxie allows Jolteon to come in safely, and Uxie could just U-turn to anything else. But here I know for sure he will not sack Scizor to Thunderbolt, otherwise Gallade will sweep everything. So I predict him to go to Quagsire and show I have Hidden Power Grass, and I finally nail him this time. I didn't want to get greedy here and try for the KO, but miss out if he switches. At the same time, he could stay in the Waterfall or Encore or Toxic, so decide to scout with Wish, but he goes to Dragonite. I honestly should have seen this coming and just kept up with the prediction, since Thunderbolt would have 2-hit KO'd after Stealth Rock, and I stay in here to Thunderbolt since I didn't want to try to switch around. I really should have just gone to Tyranitar though to sack that instead, or at least go for Protect, and I was fully expecting Superpower here, not Earthquake, which he's running over Superpower. And I guess I should have seen that coming since Quag had Waterfall. But I thought Tyranitar could survive the Earthquake with Shuka Berry, but he doesn't, so that means he's running a lot of attack EVs. So he might even be a Dragon Dance variant. But I sent in Gallade. I pick off Dragonite with Shadow Sneak, but Scizor's just going to come in and finish Gallade off with Bullet Punch, and that is the match. It was a pretty nice game. I made the mistake of thinking too far ahead this game, though, since I knew his team so well, since it's mine after all. And I ended up, quote-unquote, over-predicting. But I never thought someone would actually use it, since I honestly don't think I'm amazing at this game. But I guess I have more influence in the DPP metagame than I thought I did. I kind of like his version better, actually, since I used to struggle with Gliscor a lot, but Quagsire has Waterfall, and he had Earthquake on Dragonite, so that meant that Dragonite's not forced out as much. And I would also imagine he does a little better against Stall too, which I also struggled with. But man, 3 losses in a row. It would be nice if I could end this on top, but we'll just have to wait and see. But until next episode, guys, Chun is out. Peace.